No one has to tell Joe Biden what's in the Constitution. He was in the room when it was written. I'm sure The Rock is a good guy and a bright guy. And that is not enough. Not enough. And frankly, the fact that he thinks he can step into the single hardest job in the world with no preparation tells me one thing for sure about his judgment. It's terrible.
Some celebrities genuinely seem to believe they're ready to run a state or even the entire country, and their fans rush to crown them as leaders long before any campaign begins. But Bill Maher isn't buying the fantasy. With his signature sarcasm and razor-sharp humor, Maher dismantles the illusion that playing a president on screen somehow translates to being qualified for the real thing. While Hollywood basks in its own spotlight, Maher cuts through the glamour to expose just how absurd celebrity politics can become. So buckle up, he's about to deliver one of his most brutally honest rants yet. Let's get into it.
Someone must explain why celebrities running for high office is a recurring nightmare we cannot seem to shake. The Rock, Caitlyn Jenner, Matthew McConaughey, Randy Quaid. They all have suggested lately that when it comes to running the country, they have what it takes. And they do. Malignant narcissism.
Maher began by asking the most obvious question. Why do Hollywood stars think portraying a president on film qualifies them to run an actual nation? He didn't hold back, pointing out the huge gap between acting out a scripted fantasy and facing the unforgiving reality of national leadership. On a movie set, every emotion, every line, every heroic mistake is manufactured to look perfect. In real life, there are no retakes, no editors polishing your failures, and no cheering audience when policies backfire. Maher's punchline landed hard. Hollywood often confuses fame with wisdom. Giving grand speeches on camera is easy. Knowing how to save a country off camera is something entirely different.
I'm sure Caitlyn Jenner is a nice person, but as California governor, she would be in charge of the world's 5th largest economy, based on her qualifications of being a background character in a reality show not about her. Randy Quaid, who you will remember as Cousin Eddie in the Vacation movies and as Guy rooting through your recycling bin in real life, also says he might want to run our state. When did governing become the safety school for when the guest spots on Chicago Fire dry up?
Maher didn't hesitate to bring up Caitlyn Jenner as an example. He joked that Jenner's inability to stay relevant even within her own family's reality empire says plenty about her supposed political potential. If you can't command authority in your own home or your own show, why should anyone trust you to run a state, let alone a nation? But Maher's critique wasn't just personal. It was aimed at the broader myth of celebrity competence. He made a similar jab at Dennis Quaid, questioning why actors who can't dominate their own field suddenly believe they're destined for political greatness. To Maher, fame and leadership are a toxic mixture, and Hollywood keeps proving him right.
We treat government like the lowest rung of celebrity. Rock stars, movie stars, TV stars, Dancing with the Stars, magicians, congressmen. Governing is a difficult, nuanced job with people's lives and livelihoods at stake. Perhaps you've noticed that things in America have been a little different these last 5 months. That's because there are people back in charge who spent their formative years not on a soundstage, but studying the stuff you need to know to be effective on the world stage.
Maher nailed it perfectly. Running a government isn't a glamorous photo shoot where you strike a pose, sign papers, and hope the storyline magically resolves. It's not about applause, press conferences, or curated moments. It's about tough decisions that affect real people with real consequences. Leadership isn't about image, it's about responsibility. Yet too many celebrities entering politics forget that governing requires grit, not good lighting. Maher cuts through the facade, reminding everyone that politics has no scripts, no retakes, and no makeup artists to hide the fallout of failure.
Matthew McConaughey is, I'm sure, also a lovely person, but when he says he's considering a run for governor in Texas, I must say that is not all right. And I'm not saying that he and all these candidates haven't led lifetimes of glorious achievement. The Rock proved once and for all that weightlifters can drive. Matthew introduced Lincolns to stoners, and Caitlyn married the woman who married the guy who defended OJ. And it's not that they are actors, it's that they're not professionals in this other field called government.
Exactly. Expecting a celebrity to govern effectively is like asking a carpenter to fix your plumbing. The tools may look similar, but the skills are not. Charisma and camera-ready confidence can't replace policy expertise, administrative discipline, or the endurance needed for real leadership. A movie star can fire up a crowd. That's performance, not governance. Even the most sincere celebrity will eventually collide with budgets, diplomacy, and bureaucracy. Things no script can smooth out. Fans may point to exceptions like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but exceptions don't rewrite the rule. As Maher emphasized, running a country requires knowledge, humility, and respect for the system, not applause or fame.
This guy was a rock star, but because he was good in his field of government. That's not you.
I'm with Maher on this. Governors and presidents aren't symbolic decorations. They're the stewards of national destiny. They need real understanding of economics, defense, lawmaking, diplomacy, the entire machinery of government. Without that foundation, leadership becomes a global embarrassment instead of a stabilizing force. Maher's point isn't that celebrities should be banned from politics, but that ambition alone means nothing without preparation. If a star genuinely wants to serve, they should study, learn, and understand the weight of every policy they'll touch. Politics isn't a PR campaign or a season of reality TV. It's a responsibility that demands intelligence, grit, and humility.
What agency is responsible for our nuclear weapons? What does the 14th Amendment say? Who's the Prime Minister of India? In the event of another nuclear standoff with Russia or China, describe Kennedy's strategy that got us out of the Cuban Missile Crisis. Governing is not a job you can pick up on the afternoon of the inauguration. You can't learn it on the fly. You can't fix it in post. Putin's not on a green screen, and he doesn't give a shit about your $1 million smile. If he tells you at a summit that he'd like to take Belarus now, you have to know that's a country and not his lunch order.
Most newcomers to politics quickly realize they're in over their heads. Winning an election is one thing. Governing is something else entirely. Many spend their first term stumbling through on-the-job training, a dangerous learning curve when national security, the economy, and millions of lives are at stake. Leadership can't be improvised. It requires strategy and real-world experience. And even those who've been in office for years, like Kamala Harris, don't always grow into the role. After nearly 4 years, many of her speeches still feel vague and unconvincing. It's one thing to lack experience but show growth. It's another to have experience yet appear unprepared. Maher's message hits hard. Leadership requires substance, not just presence.
No one has to tell Joe Biden what's in the Constitution. He was in the room when it was written. I'm sure The Rock is a good guy and a bright guy. And that is not enough. Not enough. And frankly, the fact that he thinks he can step into the single hardest job in the world with no preparation tells me one thing for sure about his judgment. It's terrible. You need more proof? Kanye West thought he could do it.
Here, Maher brings up Democratic presidents, his preferred political side. But I see their record differently. Take Joe Biden, for example. His border policies were among the weakest in recent memory, leading to historic surges in illegal crossings, over 1 million encounters in a single fiscal year. That failure left Trump with a massive crisis to resolve. And the economy wasn't much stronger. Inflation soared past 9% in 2022, the worst in 40 years, crushing wages and driving up prices for everyday necessities. Gas was expensive, mortgage rates skyrocketed, and grocery bills became unbearable for families. Yes, jobs increased, but rising debt and shrinking savings overshadowed that. Many Americans felt the American dream slipping farther away.
You need more proof? Kanye West thought he could do it. The Rock says he might be the right man for the job because he believes he can unite the country. You can't. Why? Because the blue states and red states both like your stupid movies? Let me put it bluntly to you and all these would-be showbiz candidates. You're not good enough, you're not smart enough, and doggone it, it completely doesn't matter that people like you.
Maher's words may sound harsh, but he's not wrong. Being adored on screen doesn't make anyone fit to lead a nation. Popularity isn't policy, and charisma isn't competence. Politics is brutal. The moment you take a stance, you earn enemies as fast as supporters. Even the most admired figures get torn apart. So how would Hollywood celebrities handle relentless media attacks, partisan outrage, and constant scrutiny? Try to please everyone and you'll end up pleasing no one. In politics, there's no room for fence-sitting. You take a side and live with the fallout. Maher is right. Hollywood's bright lights fade fast when exposed to the harsh reality of leadership.
They like you now because you're an entertainer and thus largely uncontroversial. Governing is the opposite. If you think you can unite the country, you're delusional. A space alien attack couldn't unite this country. The aliens would say, take us to your leader, and 70% of Republicans would drive them to Mar-a-Lago.
As for unity, I'm skeptical. Republicans usually show stronger loyalty to their leaders than Democrats. But Maher's bigger point stands. America is more divided now than it has been in decades. Politics affects dating, marriages, families, and workplaces. People avoid each other over party lines. Compromise feels like betrayal. This us versus them mentality runs so deep that meaningful common ground feels impossible. So when Maher calls for unity, it sounds hopeful but unrealistic. Healing the divide requires maturity, empathy, and leaders willing to put country above ego. Maher's final message hits hard. Hollywood may glitter, but governing demands sacrifice, integrity, and wisdom. Fame can open doors, but it can't fix a broken system. His critique isn't just about celebrities, it's about voters, too, and our dangerous habit of mistaking charisma for competence. Maybe it's time to break that habit. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next.